If you're planning a remodel of your home, especially a large home remodel, one thing you need to plan to do is keep all your receipts. Keep them somewhere organized in some way so that if you ever need to go back to them, you can do that easily. And there's one big reason for this, and it's something that happened to me when I was representing some sellers a few years ago. They had done this beautiful remodel on their home, and honestly, it was unlike any remodels that had been done in the neighborhood, which is kind of a problem because that means they sort of over improved the house, meaning they improved the house beyond what it would actually be worth in a normal market. So while we didn't have any problem selling the house for what we were asking for it, where the problem arose was when the appraiser came out to appraise the home. The buyers were VA, so we had a VA appraisal done. Now, luckily, with VA appraisals, they're a little different than a regular appraisal. When an appraiser, who's a VA appraiser, can't make value, they actually tell you before they make a judgment of value on the property, and they declare what's called tidewater. And essentially, what happens is at that point, they go back to the listing agent and they say, hey, we're having a hard time getting the value for this house. Can you give us comps or give us any information you used when you priced the house? Well, that was very helpful for us because I really didn't have any comps that supported our purchase price. However, I knew that the sellers had spent $90,000 on those renovations. So I went back to them and I said, hey, here's our problem. I don't know that I can get the appraiser to reconsider the value and come up on it. However, do you have the receipts that show those $90,000 in renovations? And I fully expected them to say, no, not really. But they did. They had every single receipt, and it totaled like $91,000 or something like that. Well, believe it or not, that appraisal came in $60,000 low, which freaked us all out. But because we presented the appraiser with all those receipts proving that they had put that money in, he was willing to give us back a percentage of what they had put into it in improvements. And that $60,000 shortfall actually ended up going away, and we came in at value. We appraised, the deal closed, and everybody was happy. So I learned a big lesson from that transaction. Always keep your receipts. Yes, you may need them in the future for other reasons, but one reason you definitely might need them is if an appraisal comes in low.